What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today, I'm going to be bringing you my full review of the CMB Predator. Let's get into it. What we'll be doing today is going over the knife specs. We'll do some size comparisons. And the reason I'm revisiting the Predator is because this one came in 14C28N. That's right. Let's go ahead and jump into it. The CMB Predator now has a 3.42 inch 14C28N blade steel, handle length of 4.45 inches, overall length coming in at 7.87 inches, and claimed weight 4.65 ounces on this full steel linered knife. Let's check that weight out real quick. Coming in at 4.5, so a little bit lower than the claimed 4.65, and I did check multiple sites for the sizes and the weight on that, so it is definitely coming in lighter. Let's go ahead and bring out some comparison knives. First up, we're going to bring out the Benchmade bug out. As you can see, the bug out is just a little bit smaller than the Predator, so the Predator is more so a full-sized knife. Next, we're going to bring out the SIG K320 made by Hogue, and as you can see, this is very much in line with the size of the Hogue coming out just a little bit longer, not by much. Let's go ahead and bring out a couple of premium knives. First, we'll bring out the Devo Mash, which has 14C28N blade steel on it as well. You can see the Predator from the pivot has longer handles and is just a little bit longer in blade length. We'll go ahead and bring out the Vero Engineering Impulse, which is definitely going to be bigger overall from the pivot to the end of the handle and from the pivot to the end of the blade. That Impulse is definitely much bigger. Let me move these two out of the way and we'll bring out a couple of budget knives for size comparison. First, we're going to bring out the Elementum 2 button lock. As you can see, this sub 3-inch knife is much smaller than the Predator. And we're going to bring out the CMB Praxis. And as you can see, the Praxis still a larger knife overall. So that's it for the size comparisons. Let's do profile thickness so we can get a gauge just how thick or thin the knife is. That'll tell you how it's going to feel in hand and how it'll carry in the pocket. You can see here it is identical to the CMB Praxis. We'll do the Devo Mash to mix up the carry sizes. Devo Mash is coming in just a hair thinner, and then we'll do the bug out. You can see the bug out is going to be much thinner, and then we'll also bring out the SIG K320 by Hogue. As you can see, much thicker, and then we'll do the handle width as well so that you can see this is vase shaped or V-shaped. Vase shaped, Lord have mercy. I guess that could be crude, but it's V-shaped. And it is much smaller. Now, let's talk about this knife. When I reviewed the D2 variant for around 50 bucks, I thought it was a pretty good buy. D2 is not my favorite steel because while it does hold a really good edge, it's not super tough and it's not highly corrosive resistant. 14C takes that and kind of flips it on its head, right? It has good edge retention, not as great as D2, but it's tougher and highly corrosive resistant. So I do think that that was an interesting change. Now this one here looks like it's been bead blasted. I kind of wish they would not have done that. I wish they would have just stonewashed the finish as a raw material. Now, because it is corrosive resistant, I'm not as worried about that with this knife. The interesting thing too is the rock wall treatment on this, if I recall correctly, was 59 to 61. I think it could have been 58 to 60. I do apologize. I thought I made that note, but I don't have that here in front of me. So it could be great or it could be good, but either way, for an EDC that is really suited for medium to hard use tasks, this is going to be great. I continue to enjoy the pocket clip. They intelligently made it reversible deep carry, unlike the recently released Best Man Ronin, which only is right hand carry. I think that's a huge miss. You got a micarta backspacer here. You got full steel liners that have not been milled out for any type of weight reduction. It doesn't look like, oh yes it has. It's just really hard to see it on the black. I can see it now. There you go. So it is reduced for weight, which is a good thing. It has a great sharpening choil. Look, that plunge grind is way back here. That is awesome. This also has a really good edge. It's not the thinnest, but it is pretty darn thin, and it feels pretty good behind the edge as well. Super duper slicey. Thought I brought a piece of cardboard. Yep. Over here to kind of demonstrate this. No effort whatsoever going through the cardboard, and the edge from the factory came fantastic. So really do like the edge on that. Now, I continue to gripe a little bit about the access to the crossbar. I wish they would have either chamfered down, because this is contoured slightly, but it is pretty thin. I wish they would have either just knocked it down just a little bit, do like a U shape right here, or just made them a little bit more proud, kind of like what you see on the thumb studs. Just have it up higher and a little bit more of aggressive jimping on the end instead of it being bullnose. Having said that, it's a minor complaint. They're really not that bad. It's fine to pull it back. They definitely have strong Omega springs, which I think is why I realized when I pull back on it, it is strong pulling it back. And I wish that I would have just a little bit more access to the studs on the crossbar, because it would be really good. Action is really good. And as you can see, those springs are really strong, and it is tuned properly. So however the interface is going between the tang of the blade and that crossbar lock is done really well. It doesn't want to come out. Now you can feel it bounce just a little bit. So what you're getting is a little bit of kind of like, let's see, I'm bringing it a little closer. You get, man, it's really hard to get that to show up on the camera. It's so minor. There you go. You can kind of get that action there, but it's not actually popping out. It's just a little bit of bounce that you feel going on, which is pretty common with crossbar locks. Because this one is on ceramic bearings, it is super smooth to close, drop shut without any side to side or up and down play. This knife is manufactured really, really well. Now, here is the rub. With the D2 variant being $50-ish, if I recall correctly, this one is coming in at $70. That's a pretty steep price point for 14C28N micarta with steel liners. But when you look at the fact that you're paying $65 for Nitro V and a hollow grind with G10 on steel, that is coming in at a smaller size, you're paying $65 here for that price point, but you're getting, you know, there's less material here. There's less steel being used, less G10, less metal. It is a thinner geometry overall, starting out anyway. Hopefully you can see that. It's a little bit thicker on the CMB Predator. Not that I'm making the Elementum 2 button lock an alternative recommendation. I'm just pointing out that crossbar lock knife coming in at 70 is a little bit steep, but it's no worse than some of the $72 to $76 to $96 Civivis that are coming out there. Of course, the $76 variants are like their 9CR Damascus mix, so it's not the better steel in my opinion, the 14C or the 28N. So still not bad. But I mentioned the Ronin because the Best Man Ronin is coming in at 14C 28N, I believe micarta and G10, but I'll look it up to see. Would probably be something else that I would take into consideration. And being that Best Tech owns Best Man, I feel like that is a really compelling alternative recommendation because it's coming in at a very sweet price point. Normally here for the full size, I would recommend, you know, the Saxy with 9CR coming in under 50. You can get the Conspirator at $73 with Nitro V, but they're button locks. And the button locks are not going to be as strong and as ambidextrous in nature as the crossbar locks. I really do like crossbar lock knives. If you want an alternative recommendation for a USA made knife that you're probably going to be spending about double for, so about $140 to get the polymer version with S30V from Hogue, which is going to have a fantastic edge. It's going to have outstanding ergonomics. It's not going to have the micarta, but the crossbar lock is going to have better access. And honestly, being that it's that affordable for a full-sized USA made knife with S30V, which is a little bit nicer than 14C28N, it's going to have better edge retention, better toughness, and it's going to be corrosive resistant, just like 14C28N. Like, they're gonna have equal resistance to corrosion. Not to say that one is better than the other. 140 bucks USA made, that's not bad. And the action on this coming in with phosphor bronze washers is really, really good. And the phosphor bronze washers are going to be more resistant to dirt and debris. So that's just something to take into consideration. But I like this knife. I like this one a lot. I could definitely see this being a main EDC. It's got micarta. Now, it is the smooth micarta, so it is grippy when you rub across it, but it's smooth to the touch, going in and out of the pocket really well. The pocket clip, I forgot to mention, that was a little stiff, so I did bend it back so that I can at least get it to break. I probably bent it too much because you can see now that it's tapping. It was not tapping out of the box. That's me trying to bend and get some flex in there so that it would go in and out of the pocket, which it does do now. And you know what? For 70 bucks, I think some of the things that I complain about on the Kaisers around this price point are that they leave everything chromoly or chromatic, and it makes it look cheapened down or cheaper or cheapish. I don't know what's the correct noun there, but this one coming out with all blacked out hardware, I like that. That to me makes it look a little bit nicer. Now, they could have stonewashed the pivot, and I can do that myself, and they could have stonewashed the pocket clip, but I can do that, right? Those are things that I can do. Ultimately, the question is, do I recommend this knife? Yes, I do. It is easy to recommend this. Everything is hitting really well at this price point. Hopefully this review has helped you. Thanks for tuning in. Special shout out and thanks to everyone that's leaving the likes in the comments. I appreciate you guys more than you know. I hope all of you have a fantastic week, and until next time, peace.